Hello and welcome to Filmfolket's podcast. We that speaks today is Göran.
Johannes.
Daniel.
Today's movie is Gremlins 2, The New Batch. The movie in brief.
Sometime after Gremlins 1, New York City, the aging Mr. Wing, caretaker of the Mogwai Gizmo, passes away, and businessman Daniel Clamp makes his move to demolish the Chinese shop for a new building project. Gizmo is captured, and through a series of wild events, Clamp's high-tech building is soon filled with wild, malevolent gremlins.
That is a good summary. And it feels like ages ago since we saw the first one, and it was even before we did this podcast. But you really get back the feeling when you were seeing the first one, and also seeing that old shop together with the humming melody and all the mystique of the whole thing. So I like it.
It's an interesting movie in that it's starts out as basically a straight sequel to the first one, but as it proceeds, it basically goes completely off the rails, and any semblance of a plot structure and that kind of a thing just erodes in favor of a lot of cartoonish gags. It's a movie that's built on a lot of visual, physical comedy, and is effectively a live-action Looney Tunes cartoon. It's really interesting that way, and this has a lot to do with the movie that was actually not supposed to be made. The first movie was this strange middle ground between a horror movie and a more wholesome family comedy kind of a thing. And somehow, as it became a hit, Joe Dante was basically pressured to make a sequel. And when he got the opportunity, he went wild with it and basically lined up a lot of convoluted reasonings to get the characters together in one place and start anew in basically do whatever he wanted with it, and it really shows. It's an entertaining movie for sure, and it shows a lot of creative spirit with the way he's set up the different gags, and it's a movie that is full of these meta jokes where he basically making fun of the first movie and breaking the fourth wall, communicating with the audience, and it's very unique movie, to say the least.
And a lot of reference to other movies and music and such things. Like you said, it's a very chaotic movie. There's so much happening in this movie, and I can feel like it's a bit too much, I think. Still, it's a fun movie. It's good comedy, a lot of slapstick, and like you said, Looney Tunes.
So you had this recurring thing where they work in these sound effects that really emblematic to different Looney Tunes cartoons, and put them in this situation that's really supposed to be real life, so to speak. So you have, I don't know how to describe it, but effectively treating a scene as a cartoon, complete with sound effects and everything.
And still, I watched this movie many times, and still my favorite scene in this is when Gizmo fights back, and he takes a page out of Rambo, and when he remembers lines from the movie, and the training montage, it's very short, but it's very cool. It's so fun to watch. I mean, he's adorable, and then he's trying to fight back like Rambo. It's hilarious.
You have a lot of, let's say the special effects are a lot better in this one. And a lot of this comes down to the puppetry. They have these very elaborate puppets of the Gremlins and the Mogwai and everything, and the way they move, and there's some stop motion, and there's like I said, puppetry and all these kinds of things that they look much much more genuine, so to speak, while still looking very cartoonish. And you have this array of peculiar characters that they basically get to come up with on the fly when the Gremlins make their way to this genetic laboratory and ingest all kinds of strange things to create these mutants and everything. It's an interesting angle to take, get several of these unique characters to show up. I think the brain gremlin, basically, his only visible mutation is that he puts in a pair of glasses and starts to speak in an articulate fashion. I think that's really funny.
It feels like he wants the same thing as the humans, and also he tried to joke about society, how it is, and that they want the same. So it's in a way quite dark comedy.
There's some social commentary there for sure, and as basically the new Gremlin leader, he gets to have this insight into the way they work. It's also fun to see these interesting actors. You have Christopher Lee as Dr. Catheter. I think that's really interesting. To just call the character Dr. Catheter is crushing catheter it's a choice, let's say. And you also have John Glover, who played Lionel Luthor in Smallville, who plays Clampton, and his character is basically a parody of Donald Trump. There's also this incredibly unsubtle thing where the Clamp logo squeezing the planet is it's extremely on the nose. Corporate exploitation. Music is done by Jerry Goldsmith, who returns with his creative tunes.
Just wondering what could have been done differently, and other thoughts.
Well, if you would have taken the movie a little more seriously as a sequel rather than a series of jokes, so to speak, it would have been a very different movie, but it would have been interesting too. I won't say it's wasted potential, but I think it's if the project had been of a different mind and a different time and different resources, I don't think it would have even been recognizable. But it's like I said, somewhere halfway through the movie completely goes off the rails, and is this basically a cartoon.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree, because we don't know where it's going, especially when it's all over the place and you don't know the structure of it. So I agree with that.
Yeah, very chaotic. I would also like to see a more serious tone in it, more of the horror elements. I think would have been more to my liking. Still, it's a fun movie, but a little too chaotic for me.
Basically treat it like the first one, and you have this combination of a, well, basic premise plus these chaotic, strange gremlins turning everything on its head. The way the first one was basically family Christmas movie with monsters in it. So that kind of a film.
Yeah, it had way better structure. But then again, like you said, he was basically forced to make this movie, so...
Yeah, it's basically, all right, let's do it. And, oh, you're going to give me all this money. Okay. And whence cometh Gremlins 2? I want to say that there's this thing, I don't know, about 2/3 of the way through the movie, there's this thing with the movie really breaks, and it turns into this extended gag with how basically it's difficult to explain because I don't know about our audience, but it's the way an old movie projector works, and the whole thing just breaks down. So in the context of watching this movie in the theater, it's basically a joke about how the Gremlins got into the machinery, and it's actually something that they've edited in the TV version of the movie, where the thing kind of breaks down. You have this, well, basically it's interrupted broadcast and everything. It's an entirely different thing, and you can sometimes find versions of that in different editions of this movie. There's also an infamous Mandela effect in this movie, where I really don't have this happening to me, but I've noticed many people online are basically convinced that the gremlin with the fin on his head, the initial bad guy leader of the new Gremlins, is named Spike, which he actually absolutely isn't. In the first movie there's Stripe, and in the second movie there's Mohawk. And those are their names. It even says so in the credits. Just in case people wondering.
That's also something. The Mohawk, I would like to have... I wished he had a bigger part of the movie. There's very little of him in the movie, I think.
Yes, he basically just shows up to torment Gizmo and bring him to that breaking point where he emulates Rambo.
And it's way too short. It should have been more.
Yes, it's this series of basically cut up sequences. You could have basically cut those into 2 separate instances and maybe given the character a little more time. I think you also have this scene where that particular character shows up in a different room, and the way it plays out is like he snuck away from the tormenting of Gizmo to cause some chaos, and I think that's... I mean, it's not out of character for a gremlin, but it's just for the sake of the flow of things, it kind of stands out. Could have been fixed in editing.
Something I really like about this movie is the whole lab thing, where they start to evolve in different ways, depending on what they drink in the lab. It was fun, and it was kind of creative, and I really liked that. They could have done way more with that. There could have been a way bigger plot point if they were more serious.
Yeah, you kind of have an entire movie in just that premise. If you would have placed them in an underground research bunker or something, rather than a Manhattan high-rise. We also get to look forward to Gremlins 3, apparently in production to be released in November 2027, which is one hell of a wait, considering this movie was made in 1990.
Yeah, it feels like it's about 3 decades back, especially when it's now almost the end of 2025. I have nothing more.
Me neither.
How about you?
Just to wonder what we intend to watch the next time.
Yeah, I mean, we have, I think, at least 2 episodes more, right, before the holiday break.
Yeah.
So Die Hard was one of them.
Yeah.
And what's it called? Another Christmas movie.
I think it is it Christmas Vacation or?
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's what it is.
It's a title that's really a mouthful that we as Swedish people have a completely different title to work with in our minds. So it's kind of difficult to remember.
Yeah, especially the translation of it would be a pair to a father
Yeah.
celebrate Christmas.
Yeah, it's basically an old colloquialism that I don't think a lot of people these days really understand.
Yeah. Especially when I think Swedish, when they market films in English movies in Sweden, they have stopped translation of titles, and now they keep the original one. So I think that's really good. But anyway, I wish you all goodbye for this time. Don't forget to watch, like, and subscribe, and follow our socials. See you next time.
Yeah, goodbye.
See ya.